Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, Permission to Live in the End. This is Lisa Scott and welcome. If you have not already done so, click the like button, the notification button, and the subscribe button so that anyone who would not otherwise get a chance to see this video gets a chance to do so. And I know my hair looks completely different. It's my anniversary, guys. I think I'll be going out later on. And if you stick with me long enough, you'll see my hair changing like all the time. So anyway, happy anniversary to me. So anyway, I am here. I wanted to do this video in response to a question or a comment that a gentleman had on one of my videos, and it is an absolutely incredible question, thought, discussion that I want us to have, because if he is asking that question, lots and lots and lots of other people are asking the question, and we have at some point or another, or may continue to, even to right now, be having this experience that I want to stop by and talk about. So I am going to share my own personal experiences, as well as I don't know if I'm going to be giving any. Bottom line is, everything that I'm going to say is because I've experienced it. So that's the best way to share, is through your own personal experiences. So have I struggled with knowing whether or not I have successfully impressed my subconscious mind? Absolutely, I have. Absolutely, I have. And if you're being honest, you have as well. So, but what I want to say, number one, is that the very first indication, the number one indication that you have not, or I have not successfully impressed the subconscious mind, is if you are still desiring, or you're still worrying, or you're still trying to figure something out. You know for a fact that you have not successfully impressed the subconscious mind if you are feeling any of these things. If you're still desiring, if you're still worrying, if you still are trying to figure something out, you have not dropped the seed. So this is a very good example that Neville uses. He talks about dropping the seed and not digging it back up. So if we are continuously digging back up the seed, then we haven't dropped it. If you have dropped a seed into the soil, whether you're a gardener or not, you know that once you drop the seed into the soil takes hold of that seed and it begins to grow. But the gardener walks away from that seed. The gardener doesn't sit there and stare at the seed, continuously to see if it's going to grow, nor does the gardener doubt that the seed is going to grow. Okay. And if they do doubt that the seed is going to grow, they probably dig it all back up and replant it. Okay. So let's just use that as an analogy. But okay. So that's the number one thing that we know. I want to share some tips that have helped me along the way of coming to a place where I've been able to successfully impress my subconscious mind. And some of these things, or you know what, I'm not even going to try to tell you what you might think about these things. I'm going to share my experience. One of the things that I'll say is loosen up. Loosen up. You and I have been manifesting since the day we were born, okay? Manifesting is not going anywhere. So to, be stressed out about it, or I'm not doing this right, or am I doing this right? This type of state of being is not helpful in any way, shape, or form. So I just want to say the time is going by anyway. And you and I have been manifesting since the day we're born. It's not something that's going to go away. It is inherent of us to do, but we have come to a space and place where we are looking to do it mindfully. So I am going to say loosen up, because again, Neville says that any emotional reaction that we have to something is a seed in and of itself that is being planted and will yield a harvest. So we want to pay attention that we are not reacting and responding to every single thing that is happening, that we learn to take the role of an observer so that we can observe what we tend to do and pay attention to these things so that we can be more mindful and thoughtful about what it is that we're doing and the state of being that we are in order to make the shifts and changes that we're looking to make. The other thing I want to say is practice, practice, practice. Neville has a host of tools and techniques that he talks about in his lectures, in the videos on YouTube, on videos like I have. I have tons of stories where you can pick out certain things that I have said that I've done in order to achieve successfully impressing the subconscious mind. But you must be in practice. You must be in practice, because you cannot know a thing without experiencing a thing. And the other thing I'm going to say that goes right into it is that not every tool is for everybody all the time, or some tools might not be for certain people any of the time. But you need to try certain tools in certain circumstances and try it on to see if it works for you. And certain tools that I have listed here are the congratulatory conversation. So you have a desired outcome of, let's just say, a car. I'll just throw a car out there. So an example of a congratulatory conversation that Neville talks about is you acting as if you have already received the car, the brand new car, the debt-free car, whatever your descriptors are regarding the car, but you're having a congratulatory conversation with someone that you love, that you trust, that you care about, that you can naturally hear their voice in your mind. You're having a congratulatory conversation where that person is calling you and they are congratulating you about the car that you already have. So that is an example. And you can allow the unfolding of the naturalness, but I would say, stay as brief as you possibly can, while including as much as you can within that brief congratulatory conversation, because you want to have kind of a back and forth dialogue of you repeating back to the person what they have said. So for example, they're saying to you, "Oh, congratulations, Lisa, on that brand new car that you received effortlessly and debt-free so quickly. Congratulations on that." And I'm like, "Thank you, so and so," whoever I'm talking back to. "Thank you so much. I am so grateful to have received this car and to have been driving this car around, this safe car that is debt free, that I got so quickly and effortlessly." So you're having this conversation back and forth, repeating the same verbiage that's been used until it starts to become natural inside of your body. And I have done this myself, and I have the experience that I have had during congratulatory types of conversations. The feeling becomes so natural that for me, I can feel the transformation of the vehicle around me as I'm driving. I can feel it turning into the vehicle that I'm talking about. So that's a way to know that I have successfully impressed the subconscious mind. So that's just an example. Another example I said was a phone call, which is exactly what I talked about, where you're feeling your phone. You know what your phone feels like. You're feeling your phone in your hand and you're having some type of conversation from the state of being of having already received whatever the desired outcome is. Nice, brief conversation that includes as much information, but in a brief time frame as you possibly can, but in a very natural, way. So you know what that is, and you can kind of script it out until it, becomes comfortable for you. But this is something you need to practice, because you are going to get that natural feeling, and that is an indication that you have successfully impressed upon the subconscious mind. Is that feeling just becomes so natural to you that your body knows, and you know that you're already in receipt of the thing that you once desired. And when you're in receipt of something, you no longer desire it. Okay, so that's another example. I have also used something called Isn't It Wonderful? I was a part of a challenge some time ago last year where what we did for like a month is we just, as we were going off to sleep, and as often as you wanted to do it, you would just be saying to yourself, Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? You have no clue what the heck is wonderful. Everything is wonderful. But isn't it wonderful? This incredible state of being, just by asking this question, just becomes so much a part of you that quote unquote wonderful things just begin to happen in your life. And what I love about Isn't It Wonderful is it's functioning off of the assumptions that you're already making, the things that you're already desiring. Isn't It Wonderful is sweeping through and picking up that information and providing you in particular. So it's a customized question. I didn't even realize this when I started working with it, but because I was a part of a mastermind that was utilizing this, for everybody, Isn't It Wonderful meant something different. So that lets you know that the Isn't It Wonderful question and state of being is working based on the assumptions you're making. So I just wanted to share that. And another tool that I use that is, well, actually two tools. So this is going to be a little bit of a longer video. Is I use what I've been calling my magic notebook. I love the magic notebook because it allows me on a regular basis to just jot things down that come to mind. And I'm not talking about huge things, but I could be. It doesn't matter one way or the other. So it's whatever you're ready for. But I've used it to jot down. So I've used it to jot down big things and small things, what we're considering to be big and small. And I like using it for the quote unquote small things because you're building that trust with yourself that you are the creator. So when I say small things, I use examples like someone pays for my dinner. Someone hands me a rose. I'm holding a baby. Just whatever comes to mind, that pops into mind, don't question it, write it down, put the notebook away, and just forget about it. When you go back to that notebook, you will notice that you are checking off various things. And here's what you did not do. You did not spend an enormous amount of time trying to figure anything out. As a matter of fact, you didn't spend any amount of time trying to figure anything out. And this is the beauty of when you're practicing doing various things and different things, you'll notice that there isn't as much rules around this stuff as you're perhaps perceiving that there are, because you're doing more collecting data than you are practicing it yourself. What you'll notice is that you are just magically and inherently a manifester. And this notebook just happens to teach you that through your own data collection of practical example, that you didn't go over here and outline anything. You didn't do anything. You just heard something come to you. You wrote it down and it manifested. That is just to prove to you that you are inherently doing this all the time, regardless. Okay? The other thing, the other tool that I like to use is revision. Now, I have used revision. I have a couple of videos on my channel that talk about how I was able to have go back in my mind, have a conversation with my younger self, work out some things and change and shift some things, that from that moment of my younger self, where I don't know how old I was, but I was very, very young. But what I worked out and revised with my younger self not only revised that particular moment in time, but it revised every single solitary thing having to do with that storyline from that moment all the way into the present. So I would say that one of the most powerful tools that I have ever used is revision, because it has this sweeping effect to it. And I'm saying all of this to say that it will be easier for you, if you're in this space and state, to impress upon the subconscious mind when you are addressing, in a very systematic manner, when you are addressing those things that are affecting you on a subconscious, in a subconscious manner, in the underlying subconscious part of yourself that is not believing certain things. So revision can sweep through and affect and touch things that you didn't even know were a subconscious program that was hindering you from believing what you want to believe. So revision is an extremely powerful and sweepingly effective tool. So I'm just letting you know that I use that as well. But the thought, the discussion, the question is, are you struggling to know whether you've impressed your subconscious mind? Or struggling to know you've impressed your subconscious mind? You know for a fact that you are struggling, or you have not impressed the subconscious mind if you are still in a space of desiring, worrying, trying to figure something out. If that is occurring, you have not successfully impressed the subconscious mind. But the good news is everything that I just shared with you, that you want to loosen up and know that you are a master manifester regardless. You are manifesting. You're just doing it in a more mindful manner. So, but you're manifesting. You are a master manifester already. Loosen up. The other thing is practice, practice, practice. You are not going to know what tools work for you in particular unless you try them on. Look up the various tools that Neville Goddard talks about. Try those tools on for yourself and see what works for you. Someone cannot come along and tell you that this is guaranteed to work for you when that's not necessarily the case. What works for one may not work for you, or may not work or have you feeling that naturalness that you need to feel. So try on different tools and see how they fit for you. The magic notebook. I use the notebook because it allows me on a regular basis to see the small things that are manifesting without any effort, without any critical thinking whatsoever. I think a thought, something pops in my head, I jot it down, I put it to the side. Next thing you know, I come back, I've manifested it. So utilize a magic notebook if you want. Revision. is one of the most powerful tools. I just talked about that, so I'll skip on to utilizing a congratulatory conversation or a phone call. Having someone, acting as if in your mind you are speaking to your best friend or whomever you decide you're speaking to, who is congratulating you for already having received whatever it is your desired outcome is. Isn't it wonderful? That's a tool that, again, without having to give anything, any type of thought whatsoever, just start saying it. Just start saying, isn't it wonderful? But just know that whatever you're implying is wonderful, whatever you're assuming is wonderful, is what's going to manifest in your reality. So just know that. And I think that's it. I think I've covered everything. So you want to feel that naturalness. That's how you know that you've successfully impressed the subconscious mind. And when you have stopped desiring and you just moved on with life, you basically have, you know that you are still desiring certain things, but you're not worried about it. You're not worried about trying to figure out when, who, what, when, where, all of that. It's gone because you have already dropped the seed in the soil and you are able to move on with your life. And something else I just mentioned, if that is not happening, if you continue to notice yourself saying the same thing over and over again, the same desire just keeps coming up over and over. It might be being said in a different way, but it just keeps coming up over and over again. Let's just say the car again. You said the car a year ago. You said the car. You keep bringing up the car. It is time to stop and pay attention to certain things like, is there an underlying subconscious belief that is happening right now where you're somehow feeling unworthy of the car? And in that case, you want to deal with the worthiness and use your notebook to write down what are all of the states of being or belief that you have regarding your worthiness. And then you want to create affirmative statements regarding your worthiness to override the current belief system, like, I am worthy. Everyone around me feels that I'm worthy. I feel that I'm worthy. I'm in love with myself. Whatever statements just naturally flow out of you in order to override this feeling of unworthiness that is not allowing you to have that car. That's what you want to deal with. So I hope this has been helpful to you with so many different ways to assist you in being able to subconsciously or being able to successfully impress your subconscious mind with whatever your desired outcome is. This is Lisa Scott. Thank you so much for stopping by and spending time with me. I want to hear your comments. I want to hear your suggestions. I want to hear your experiences. And don't forget to click that notification button, subscribe button, and click the like button so that those who wouldn't otherwise get a chance to see this video do have a chance to do that. And I will see you on the next video.